Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan, trader and technical analyst with the Chart Guys. In this video, we're going to check in on Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency space, a bunch of altcoins. We have some news to check in on. I got frustratingly stopped out on a position. With that news, we'll go over that trade review. And we'll see where we stand as we head into the holiday here in the US on Thursday. And if anything from our prior month of trading is a clue, we're going to be looking for some trading opportunity over the holidays. I do believe that people are going to use that time off to try and make $1 billion. So we want to be watching the key setups heading into the holiday, because I do believe Thursday through Sunday, there will be continued altcoin opportunity. So before we get to Bitcoin, we have our Black Friday sale on currently. And tomorrow after hours at 5 p.m., Lori and myself are going to be going through what the website details are, what the Black Friday deal is. So posting the link for that live stream now in the chat room. And if you have any interest in trading with a community and up in your educational game, then check out that webinar tomorrow and see if the Chart Guys is right for you. All right. So Bitcoin, I'm viewing this as an equilibrium essentially. And, I've been on the 12-hour time frame, but even just looking at the daily, we've got our top at 38, our pullback for a daily high or low, our double top at 38. We found a support level at 35.5, and now here we are testing 38,000 again. The bulls are still very confident, hanging out right at resistance, right at 18-month highs. And if that breaks, we're looking up to 40,000 psychological as the next resistance level. And also the backdrop of what's going on in the broader market is key to be paying attention to, because not only is Bitcoin strong, not only have altcoins been strong, and again, crypto strength came first, but we've also got the broader market in a short squeeze. Again, this is very unusual price action to V-shape straight off the lows. Right now, the broader market is trading as if it's in blue sky breakout. What do I mean by that? The exact same thing that I said 3 weeks ago talking about crypto, saying things are trading differently. We've got back burners working. We've got rotation going on. The broader market is doing the same thing. We've got hourly back burners. We've got rotation. During these 3 days, it's the same thing. I mean, applying what I've learned in crypto has helped me so much in stocks, because look at the NASDAQ here, just the last 4 days, not much going on, sideways. But while that was happening, our laggard sectors were seeing continuation. Our smaller growth names, our higher risk, higher reward names, like ARKK and the biotech sector, they were seeing some continuation. And so again, it's just healthy rotation. But the backdrop for crypto is stocks are all bulls in a short squeeze, dumbfounding a ton of market participants who are saying, what is going on? Straight off these lows and looking up to all-time highs. Again, the NASDAQ is a monthly cup and handle looking to test all-time highs into the end of the year. And here we are 4% away from that all-time high. Also, elsewhere, we've got the dollar collapsing. The dollar is doing exactly what the crypto bulls want to see. It's rolling over and giving back 50% retracement now from the move up, and has been weak and in a daily downtrend for a couple of weeks at this point. So that's another check mark for what the bulls want to be seeing. Other than that, crypto's strong. So yeah, it's a good time, in terms of all the little pieces are aligning to continue to tell us, yeah, bull is the direction to continue to be looking at this point. So let's talk about the news real quick. So the news headline that came out today: U.S. seeks more than $4 billion from Binance to end the criminal investigation against it. I find that to be a funny reading headline. Hey, just give us some money and we'll, it's all good. Criminal, nah, forget it. Just give us some money and you're good. Anyways, there was initially a bearish reaction to that, and then it went straight into a bull reaction. So here it is on Bitcoin. The news hits. We flush down real quick. V-shaped bounce into the high of the day. So what was frustrating for me is I headed into today saying I like crypto stocks and how they are positioned with where Bitcoin stands, with where the broader market stands, into today. And I saw this Bitcoin had an hourly support into the stock market open at 37,000, and we broke that at 9:10 into a V-shaped bounce. So the stock market bell rings right here, and I could say, okay, we just broke support into a V-shaped bounce. That is a good sign for longs. Zero bear follow through. So I chose MARA. I liked the MARA daily setup. I like the fact that we're building a base of support and churning, and there's a lack of resistance over 1072. It reminds me of back here. I'm not expecting the same kind of move. I just mean it reminds me of this churning sideways action that we know will lead to a break and to a spike in volume and volatility. And today, we're getting a little bit of a spike in volume and volatility. The bummer was MARA is a bit weaker than Riot today. And so, I made my morning entry. I did sell a little bit into strength, and I did stop out on the, again, Bitcoin flushed on the news real quick. That led to a new low of the day, triggering my stop loss for my remaining position. And then, of course, the V-shaped bounce recovery into the move that I was looking for. So in the end, it's an insignificant trade. It's a tiny loss, which is not meaningful. But obviously the downside is this is the move I was looking for, and I stopped out right at the low before the move takes place. We have Riot performing. Riot's trying to head back up to the recent highs, and Coin getting over 100. Coin had a really nice back test. Look at that perfect back test. So resistance 99.82, 115. We back test 100. We hold it by a penny, and now we're up 5.5% from that support test. But Coin is in an area with a lack of resistance as well. So the crypto stocks performing. So what do you do about that? And the analogy that I give is, it's just like, for those of you that play poker, you go all in with pocket aces. It's the best hand you can possibly go all in with. Not saying that this was the best trade setup you can possibly have, but it's a scenario where your probabilities are favored. But anybody that's played any amount of Texas Hold'em, thousands of hands, whatever, you know that you're going to lose a bunch with pocket aces pre-market. It happens fairly often. And does that mean you don't go all in with the best hand? No. It means you accept that sometimes the less likely scenario plays out, you get a bad beat, whatever, and you move on and you play the next hand. And it's the same thing with trading. Okay, a headline shook me out, hit my stop, and then sees follow through. And it's easy for me to say, if you were new to playing poker and that's your first experience or your second experience with pocket aces, you lose and you bust out of a tournament, you're gonna be unsure of yourself. Did I do something wrong? Should I not go all in with pocket aces? Whereas an experienced poker player knows I'm gonna do that every single time. And it's the same thing with an experienced trader. This has happened to me hundreds of times in my trading career, and I just know to shake it off. It happens. It's part of the game. I like the trade setup. I like the risk and reward of that setup. I would take the exact same trade again, and that's not gonna hold me back. But it's because I have the experience of gone through it so many times that I know to just shake it off. Whereas someone who's newer to trading in their first year has self-doubt and did I do something wrong and maybe my stop was too tight, all these self-doubt questions that go through our head at that point. But it's just the way it goes. It's part of the game. Sometimes we stop out right before the move takes place. Sometimes we stop out right before, something terrible happens and it saves us a significant amount of money. So all in all, crypto stocks looking good. A lot of space for hourly higher lows to form. And again, positioned real well if Bitcoin breaks 38,000. And right now, probabilities favor Bitcoin breaking 38,000 eventually. Just, whether is it this test or do we have to keep tightening up? We certainly know it's possible that Bitcoin keeps tightening up on the daily heading into the weekend. Right now in the short term, we got a little tightening 15-minute range. I would say if we head back down and break 37,000, that will then be a convincing pullback. But for now, bull's hanging on just fine. Daily stair-step pattern, higher low every day for 6 days. There are some stocks like Netflix that have set a higher low every single day for 15 days in a row. But if you want to keep it simple, bears don't do anything if we set a higher low every day. So that has to change. We would have to break the low of a previous day if things are going to shift. Otherwise, Bitcoin bulls keep full control in the short term. So again, bulls looking good. We got a weekly stair step, holding supports. We're trying for another leg up over 38,000. So where do we stand with altcoins? So first off, dominance. Again, I always look at dominance for just a little clear guide. We're looking for a weekly higher low as the most likely scenario. How can that weekly higher low form? It can happen with Bitcoin breaking over 38,000 and heading up to 40,000 while altcoins follow but not as strongly, or dominance sets a weekly higher low with everything dropping and altcoins dropping more significantly. A week ago or 5 days ago or however long ago it was, I was looking at a more likely scenario being the dominance chart bouncing with altcoins dropping harder than Bitcoin. But now we've seen a number of things which continue to tell us bulls have full control. Number one, obviously Bitcoin's really nice recovery from that pullback on the daily time frame. But other things just like, Link. Link confirmed a daily downtrend for the first time on this entire move, straight into a 20% bounce. So anytime you break support with zero follow through, you zoom out and look for a flag. And so, we didn't even see enough consolidation to be on the weekly time frame, but it's a potential bull flag on a longer term time frame. So there are indications from the altcoin space telling us that bulls are still just fine. RNDR was a weekly cup and handle pattern. We'll look at the 4-hour rising wedge in just a moment, but it was a resistance level, failure to break it, bull flag, breakout. So the names that did start weekly consolidation already are still holding on strong. So and of course, Bitcoin just hovering at 38,000, it's much easier to visualize a break of 38,000, a leg up, and the dominance chart setting a weekly higher low. RNDR, watching this 4-hour rising wedge, a couple of us in the Chart Guys chat room, we're keeping an eye on this morning. Definitely worth paying attention to. Just a bull break straight into consolidation, bull break straight into consolidation. So now the question, is this a 4-hour head and shoulders shaping up within this rising wedge? But even if we do see this rising wedge break bear, that just means zoom out and look for a daily higher low and watch for first hourly oversold conditions. There's a number of altcoins that were a couple days ago forming tightening ranges. Again, the things that we want to be looking for in this market environment are back burners, first hourly oversold conditions after a significant breakout or whatever time frame you're on. So we want to be watching back burners, or we want to be watching tightening ranges. Those are the two things to be looking at in an extremely strong bullish market to not be chasing. Tightening ranges give you stop losses nearby. They give you acceptable risk reward setups. And then of course, back burners, we know how well those work in a trending market, which we're seeing both in stocks and crypto right now. Just popped into my head 1 second. Side note, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, I'm going to be going live with Crypto Burb, part of their educational series, and talking about longevity with trading crypto, being on year 6 and knowing what it takes, being on year 13 of trading, to stay in this game, ensure that we stay in this game long term. So going to chat for an hour. I'll post those live stream links tomorrow morning early on our Twitter and social media. All right, so altcoins with tightening ranges. So over the weekend, identified a good number of equilibriums that were shaping up. So all these names, tightening ranges trying for daily higher lows. So Algo, daily higher low set, bull break into continuation. Again, just a beautiful tightening range. A bull looking for a higher low can either play off of 12.2 or look for a setup for the 4-hour trend change to set the daily higher low. So if I'm saying, all right, I'm looking for a daily higher low compared to 12.25, show me on the 4-hour time frame a bullish pattern that shows me that daily higher low is shaping up. So here was a 4-hour inverse head and shoulders that confirmed, 4-hour uptrend confirmed, daily higher low set. Atom, daily higher low set, but much weaker. So it's still an equilibrium, and anything under 1022 is just a daily low or high. And so it was the same thing. We set the daily higher low, we confirmed a little 4-hour inverse head and shoulders, but there's a lack of follow through. So just a really good example of this, a very similar setup on two different names, but very different how they are playing out at this point. So if I am wanting to look bearish, I'm keeping an eye on Atom. It is giving some red flags. And so Atom would need to confirm a 4-hour downtrend as the result of the next bounce. But again, just keep an eye out if this pattern breaks bear into weekly consolidation. Other names, who else did we have? Binance, of course, broke bull on news. SHIB.Binance. So SHIB, daily higher low is not formed yet, so it's trying. We would need to hold 835. An aggressive bull is going to play off 835. Actually, I take that back, 829. An aggressive bull is going to play off 829 and say that's either the daily higher low or I'm wrong. We need to hold it and confirm the 4-hour uptrend here for the daily higher low to be set. So no daily higher low set yet here as bulls try. Dot, daily higher low set, still in a tightening range. Possible a daily lower high forms and we continue tightening up. And of course, Binance on the news. Daily higher low set, monster move, but giving a lot back. I'd be watching for a 15-minute lower high here and a tightening range. If we confirm a 15-minute downtrend, zoom out, scout an hourly higher low, but definitely giving back a decent bit of that initial spike up. So just looking at those 5 patterns, we have one that's already broken bull on Algo. We have one that's clearly weaker on Atom. We have one that's pretty standard, middle of the road on Dot, continuing to tighten up. And we have some that, we have SHIB that has not set the daily higher low yet, burden on bulls to do so. So it's all the same pattern, but it's all these different names are in varying stages, whether it's varying degrees of strength or has not, set the higher low yet. So again, keep an eye on these tightening ranges. Just like EGLD was a really nice tightening daily equilibrium. Granted, it hasn't gone anywhere, but it's worth keeping an eye on. Anytime you see an equilibrium break and it doesn't follow through, zoom out because it's very likely forming an equilibrium on a longer term time frame. So EGLD, this daily equilibrium, technically broke bull there. But if we go to the 2-day chart, we can see high, low, lower high, higher low. It's now just a 2-day equilibrium tightening up. So I'd be watching this name on the 2-day time frame now. And we're waiting for a spike in volume and volatility. Another clue about this break is there was a lack of volume. Whenever an equilibrium breaks, you've got to ensure the volume spike associated with it. And you can see here, the average daily volume, we didn't exceed the 20-day average volume on that bull break. And it was actually a low volume day, at least on Binance. The day where the bull break took place was lower volume than the 2 days prior that were still in a tightening range. But that's the kind of move where you want to take a bit of profit, and then if it falls back, again, it's much more forgiving. But long story short, into this holiday weekend, keep an eye on EGLD 2-day equilibrium, SHIB, DOT, Atom, tightening daily ranges, because we can very easily see volatility as people eat turkey and trade crypto. Ape, haven't looked at Ape in forever. Ape's got a tightening range. Go to the 2-day, condense it down. So I'd be viewing it like this. Anything under 157 is a lower high, but I personally don't really like Ape's liquidity. Let's look at the weaker names. So AVAX, 12-hour, tightening range, high, higher low, lower high, bulls must hold $20. What if we get hourly oversold heading towards $20? That's possible. Let's see if that's a setup. If I'm an aggressive bull, I'm looking for a playoff 20, and ideally I want to see some oversold conditions as it's shaping up. Be watching a 30-minute falling wedge trying to form here. That breaking bull would be the first indication of a 12-hour higher low attempt compared to 20. And bulls are hoping to just continue tightening up within this range on the 12-hour chart. So also weaker, 12-hour lower high set. It's entirely possible this is a 12-hour head and shoulders. Bulls must hold support of 54.10 to remain within this tightening range. If we break 54.10, we zoom out, weekly consolidation will be shaping up, and we'll then be scouting hourly. Actually, at that point, if we're going to break 54.10, we'll be scouting first 4-hour oversold conditions if that support breaks. So again, the beauty of the current crypto environment is we don't have everything doing the same thing. We have clearly stronger setups, nice tightening ranges, clearly weaker setups. And so as I mentioned, if I am looking bearish, it's fine to be looking to hedge or to be protecting long swings, or, again, as long as you're not just constantly trying to short and being stopped out and stopped out and stopped out, playing counter trend, which a bunch of people are doing in the stock market right now. As long as you're not doing that, you can make an attempt every now and again. And so a name like Atom, maybe that daily lower high is a decent setup for bears, because if this tightening range breaks bear, we are heading into weekly consolidation. So there is some weekly consolidation shaping up in some places. In an ideal world, if I don't have a sole short at this point, I would want to see 54 hold, and then I scout the lower high to get better risk reward. But a good mix of weak names and strong names. Matic is looking for a daily lower high. It's trying to confirm a daily head and shoulders into weekly consolidation. That was a little 4-hour rising wedge. So if we know a daily lower high is most likely because of the size of this pullback and the amount of space created, we zoom into the 4-hour, exact opposite, right? So on the names that we're scouting, a daily high or low, we zoom into the 4-hour, we look for a bullish pattern to show us that it's shaping up, whether it's an inverse head and shoulders or a falling wedge or something like that. Exact opposite, when a daily lower high is the most likely scenario, we zoom into the 4-hour. We look for a bearish pattern, a head and shoulders, a rising wedge. This was a rising wedge. Again, it's definitely always easier in hindsight, but these are the principles of technical analysis. And now we'll see if the bears can follow through and confirm the first daily downtrend. When's the last time that Matic has seen a clear daily lower high and lower low? Hasn't happened in a month ever since this move really got going. So there are some names that are looking a little toppy and potentially shaping up into weekly consolidation. So we're keeping an eye on that. Thank you for the shares and the likes. Only 53. All right, I'm reading the chat room now. Dollar dead. Doge. So how does Doge compare? So Doge is stronger than SHIB, but daily high or low set. Did we confirm a 4-hour uptrend? No. We have to confirm a 4-hour uptrend to have confidence in a daily high or low. And if we roll over and break 773, that's the first red flag for bulls weakening. So bulls really want to hold 773 and confirm the 4-hour uptrend to have confidence in that daily high or low being able to head back up towards the recent high. Bat is really tight. A break and a volume spike is imminent. Pay attention to this name. High, low, lower high, higher low, anything under 2354, just another lower high in a tightening daily range. If it breaks bear, weekly consolidation is underway. If it breaks bull, we look back to the recent high. But we're getting real tight. Again, just imagine it's just a rubber band that's stretching as we get tighter and tighter, and it's going to snap. And we're going to get a volume and volatility spike, and we're either going to head up to test that high or head down to test that low. Keep an eye on volume. It's very often volume that indicates to you that a tightening range is breaking, that the move is being made. MARA today, aside from the stop out, showed me volume on the morning. Look at this first 30 minutes of volume. Compared to Friday, it was 200% plus more. It was the highest first 30 minutes of volume in at least a week. That made it more believable to me. Volume is the prove it indicator. So Ape, I didn't really look at Ape well. Again, I don't love the clarity, but I would be viewing anything under 157 as just a lower high on a 2-day zoomed out time frame approach. But again, it's just chopping around. I mean, anything with that kind of a wick, I just really dislike that liquidity. Maybe it was only on Coinbase. But anyway, as a trader, so just as an example, I look at this and I say, I don't have clarity on this daily chart. I don't have an edge. So I go and find a setup that I do have clarity and I do have an edge. So when I'm determining, what do I want to be trading? What setups do I want to be looking for? That's definitely part of it. And that's part of knowing your edge. Do you like trading oversold bounces? Do you like trading equilibriums? Do you like trading bull breaks? Whatever it is, I just know that Ape to break support with no follow through, resistance with no follow through, it's just not, I just don't have clarity. Already talked about the miners. Sol, again, potential 12-hour head and shoulders. Bulls must hold 54.10. That is the level for the rest of the week. If 54.10 holds, bulls keep the daily uptrend. If we lose it, it's the first confirmed daily downtrend since this move got going a month ago. And that will tell us things are shifting a bit. And then from that point, we'll look to first 4-hour oversold conditions. Did NVDA? Yep, all-time highs. LTC has not gotten its turn. Gotta watch LTC BTC. As long as it's at the lows, nothing is changing. But I do like a potential 12-hour falling wedge on Litecoin. So this would need to break bull, and it would need to result in a pop, a move up on LTC BTC. I like this pattern for clarity. If this 12-hour breaks bull, it's a weekly higher low trying to shape up. So keep an eye on Litecoin into this weekend. Absolutely. Just because it hasn't made a move yet. If we can confirm this 12-hour uptrend and a bull break of this pattern, and if that, again, results in LTC BTC seeing a solid green day, that's worth paying attention to. Again, we don't want to assume it's going to happen. We can take a low-risk attempt, but make the bulls prove it to you. I don't know what's going on with that big old message. Did someone just pay me $5 to pump something? Yep, I guess. Thanks. Charpy, glad to help. That's really how it goes. So Charpy says, I helped him a bunch, taught him everything in 2017, and it's paid off immensely. The amount of people that I taught in 2017 and 2018 that did not benefit from my teachings that run, but then benefited from applying what I taught them to their own experiences into the second run in 2021, there's a lot of people where that is the case. So, it's very easy to mess up your first experience with something. It's the second time around that we want to capitalize with all the lessons that we learned. ADA is another one that has a potential tightening range. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, it's going to be a daily lower high. So I'm viewing that as a low, high, higher, low. Maybe setting up a lower high, but we can easily tighten up within this daily range for another 3-4 days. So burden on bears to prove to us the daily lower high is being set, but worth paying attention to for just another tightening range. Again, keep a notepad next to your computer. Names in tightening daily ranges, write them down. Weaker, write them down. Stronger. Just always be compartmentalizing mentally the altcoins that you're watching. And you don't want to be watching 50 altcoins, but let's just say you're watching 10. Compartmentalize them so that they're much easier to keep track of. Every time you sit down at the computer, you're not starting from scratch again and, lost and takes an hour to get your bearings. You look down at your paper, you check in on the setup. Has anything changed? Is a good risk reward entry approaching with a name in a daily tightening range, approaching a daily support to potentially play off of it? Use a pen and paper or a pencil. In really strong bull moves waiting for oversold, are you always strict, or do you sometimes front run oversold? So that partially, I don't know what I just did. That partially depends on what are the short-term RSIs doing. If the 5 and the 15-minute RSI are really beat up and the hourly RSI is at 32, I may want to be a little bit more aggressive and look to make an initial entry before we physically get to hourly oversold. And there are, a couple times where we can see in a really strong market that people are competing for those oversold bounces and that we don't quite get to oversold. It also depends on, if I'm having a solid week and a really profitable week, then I can be a little bit more loosey-goosey, a little bit more aggressive. And maybe I make my first scale-in entry at 32 hourly RSI, and then I save a second one for 28 hourly RSI. If I've had a tough week and I'm struggling to put together, flow state and some wins, then maybe I'm a bit more picky. So there's a lot of factors involved, but those are just a few of them. All right, I gotta get going fairly soon here, unless those likes get up to 100. Kaz. So we're close to starting daily consolidation. Worth watching for an hourly backburner. This name has been running enough on the daily time frame with its most recent leg up that it's worth scouting first hourly oversold conditions, looking for a daily high or low attempt. BTC can definitely consolidate from here. It's done it multiple times from 38,000. Possible scenario, if we see this 15-minute, well, we're testing resistance. Bulls are keeping full control here. Crypto stock still up at the highs. Switch from Coinbase Advanced from Coinbase Pro. Honestly, I'm not taking a ton of trades on it. I'm swing trading, mostly just Bitcoin, on that platform right now. And again, utilizing fee-free day trading with much more significant capital on these crypto stocks. Overall, I guess it's a bit better, but again, I haven't, I've put in 0.1% of the amount of trades on Coinbase Advanced versus other platforms. Thanks, Crypto Ricardo. So here's a good question. And this is why you won't ever get a straight answer. And this is why everybody says technical analysis doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. So how reliable, what is the win percent of a head and shoulders pattern? Context means everything. That's like saying, what is the reliability of hourly oversold conditions? Well, if you're in this kind of market environment, the hourly back burner is going to have a win rate exponentially larger than if you're in a daily, weekly downtrend in a bear market playing hourly oversold bounces. It's a night and day difference. You can't compare the two. I don't have a good analogy. It's not comparable. So head and shoulders, well, is it a head and shoulders pattern where the most important factor to determine probability of something is, does the longer term time frame jive with what you're looking for? For example, if we see, let's just do a hypothetical here, Bitcoin. If we see Bitcoin pull back on the weekly to 31,000, we know that a weekly lower high is the most likely result of the next bounce. All right, weekly bounce gets going. I'm scouting a weekly lower high. I now see a daily head and shoulders pattern forming. That has so much more probability to me because it's a shorter term time frame showing me a bearish pattern when I know it aligns with the most likely scenario on the longer term time frame. Versus if we're in blue sky breakout and forming a head and shoulders pattern, that's going to have a way lower probability because it does not align with the most likely scenario on a longer term time frame. So the number one criteria of whether you have conviction in patterns is, does it align with the longer term most likely scenario? A 5-minute rising wedge means nothing to me if we're in a daily, weekly, and hourly uptrend. Well, it means a little something, but it's very different versus if an hourly lower high is the most likely scenario on a bounce and I'm scouting a 5-minute rising wedge. So, you can plug in, you can back test head and shoulders. What's the probability win rate? That gives me no information whatsoever. It's all about the context. Without the context, it's useless information. And so anybody that's back testing technical analysis and patterns is not applying that scrutiny of context. They're just saying, hourly RSI hits 30. What is the probability that we get a 1% bounce from there? I'm not playing hourly oversold bounces in a bear market. I'm playing them in a raging bull market. It's a night and day difference. People don't understand that concept. The people that don't understand technical analysis don't understand that concept. NY Fishing, Black Friday sale, come on down. Just wait till you see the community. I'm just one guy. There's a lot of smart people in there. Is the Litecoin 3-month time frame a giant bull flag? No. Don't even need to look. It's not. Look at retracement size to determine bull flags. Might be a bear flag. The monthly is a potential bear flag. No bull flag. I think Riot and MARA have potential for a head and shoulder setup. I don't know what time frame you're talking about. Bulls are in full control at the moment. All right. Appreciate you all watching. Again, we'll do that webinar tomorrow. I'm going to do the chat tomorrow morning. I'll post a live stream on social media. Appreciate you tuning in. Write them down. Watch those tightening ranges. Definitely, if Bitcoin stays strong, altcoins are going to have opportunity over the holiday, in my opinion, as a lot of people are off of work and clicking buttons. Do good things. Thanks again.